So the other thing that this would do is that it would mandate that schools allow biological boys to access the girls' restrooms, locker rooms, and showers. Bad idea. Really bad idea. How is this about equality? It sounds to me like they're just basically telling you that if you have a son, a biological boy, that is in school and they're changing in the locker room, that they need to just deal with the fact that there's going to be girls in there possibly. Doesn't sound very equal to me. So they're also going to require teachers and students to use the preferred names and pronouns of those who identify as transgender. Look, this will be tough for me. I'm not even going to lie. You know, to be honest with you, if they get a legal name change, I don't think most people have an issue with that. They change their name, whatever. There's whatever qualifies or constitutes as a name is subjective. But when you're talking about the pronouns, that's where things get a little tough, okay? That's where things get tough for a lot of teachers. It's going to be a problem for a lot of them. A lot of teachers are not going to be able to do this and are going to definitely get fired for this stuff. There was actually a coach, this was last year at some point. He was kind of the boys football coach, I think a few of the other boys teams at school. He was also the person that would be in the locker room to supervise the kids that were in there, make sure that they weren't getting into a fight, whatever would normally happen in a locker room with a bunch of boys in there. But he was basically supposed to be supervising those boys in that locker room. And the school said, hey, look, there's this new transgender boy, which is basically a girl that's identifying as a boy that wants to use the locker room. So you're going to have to basically watch that child and make sure that none of the other boys do anything towards them to hurt them. And the coach was like, hey, whoa, I'm not going to watch what is a biological girl change because that's ridiculously sickening. Guess what happened to that guy? That guy got fired. He didn't even go as far as to say, I'm not going to call them by this specific name or by their pronouns. He literally just said, I'm not going to watch them change. And they said, you're done. You're gone. He got fired. Ruined that man's career over something as common sense as that. It's only going to get worse from there, though. Let's be real here. So they're going to also require employees to implement strict preferred pronoun policies. What does that mean? Strict preferred pronoun policies. What they're talking about is they're going to have company policy that's going to tell you that if you literally make a mistake and you refer to somebody as a he when they're a she, that you're going to lose your job. How does that make any sense at all? Now, they're also going to compel employees to provide health insurance, they're going to compel the actual employers to provide health insurance to sex reassignment surgery. Why are companies needing to pay for this? I mean, if many of the companies you work for don't even provide birth control a lot of times with the normal insurance, let alone literally a sex reassignment surgery. How in the world is that even? Does that make sense? I mean, what next? Are they going to start funding your or covering your plastic surgery? Like, yeah, doc, I'm going to, get this liposuction thing. I'm going to need you to foot the bill, all right? Like, I need the employer to do that one. That's not going to happen. I hope that does not happen. That is ridiculous. Look, you getting a sex reassignment surgery is your own business, okay? It's a free country. Well, sort of a free country. But you don't get the ability to tell your employer and force your employers to actually pay for this stuff. That's insane. There's no reason why they should be providing health insurance for that. So they're also going to allow men to enter and use the women's public bathrooms, locker rooms, and showers, which of course is a bad idea. You don't want men coming into anywhere near women in a shower, a locker room, or bathroom. That's a horrible idea. They're also looking at allowing males to compete in female sports. Now, this is one of those things that's been happening for a while, and I've covered this before. This is already taking place. This is already happening. They're already allowing for biological men to just dominate females in whatever sport that they're playing in. Now, here's a little bit of a clip of a young woman talking about that and the issues surrounding why it doesn't make any sense.
I've been training to be a championship sprinter since I was 8 years old. With the help of my parents, my coaches, and my teammates, I did it. By sophomore year of high school in 2018, I was one of the top 5 female high school sprinters in Connecticut. But then, one day, I wasn't. At the state championships that year, 2 people passed me, passed all of us girls, literally. They finished first and second in our races, dominating the field. Were they more motivated? Did they train harder? I don't think so. But they did have an edge, a big one we couldn't match. They were biological boys who said they were transgender girls. Do you think that's fair? Males competing against females? Before you make up your mind, let me tell you a bit about what it took for me to become a top female sprinter. It meant training with my team every day after school for at least 2 hours, working to shave fractions of a second off of my time in the 100 and 200 meter dash. It meant not hanging out after school or going out with friends on the weekends. It meant getting up early every Saturday morning and competing all day at a meet. It meant not indulging in any of the things that might cost me my dream. And here's the thing about the 2 biological males that took the top 2 girls' medals in the state of Connecticut. Their times were not even good enough to qualify them to compete in the state championships on the boys' team. Let me say that again in case you missed it. Their times were not good enough to qualify them for the boys' state championships. But 2 years in a row, they won first and second place competing against the girls.
Yeah, so this is happening all over, and it really is hard to hear her story about this. If you want to watch the full clip of that, by the way, check out PragerU. They have that up. I think it was posted maybe like a week ago. Check out the full clip on that. It's very interesting. But this is what they're doing to our young women. They don't want them to be able to be successful in these things because it doesn't align with the woke culture. So the other thing that they're going to be doing now is requiring doctors to provide sex reassignment procedures and hormone therapy against their conscience. So in other words, if you go into a doctor's office right now and you're like, hey, I want this particular surgery, and this surgery might be kind of just out in left field a little bit. And the doctor's like, hey, look, you know what, based off of my expertise, I don't think that's a good idea. Okay? Because I don't think they're specifically referring to them being like worried about their religious values in this. I think they're talking about the fact that they're just saying, look, I don't think this is right for you. I think you should wait. I think you should think about it. No, they're saying, nope, just do it. Just do it. Don't let doctors make informed decisions because they're doctors and they have experience making these informed decisions. Just let them go ahead and do it. Don't give them any pushback. Don't give them any common sense talk. Don't recommend something else. If they come in there saying they want something, you give it to them. That's what they're talking about here. There's going to be a lot of doctors getting fired over this stuff too. Doctors that probably have nothing to do with sex reassignment surgeries that are going to wind up having to do these procedures. What's going to happen then? The problem with all of these things and with this Equality Act is that it has to take away the rights of other people in order to boost up the whole trans, LGBT, all that stuff. It has to do that first. So your rights get taken away while they're given the ability to infringe on yours. The problem in the warped mentality is that the left views this as equality, where their woke agenda keeps you from being able to actually run your business the way you want, to actually be a Christian. So think about the religious aspect of this. And many people may say, well, I'm not worried about this. What's the problem with this, right? Well, if you're a Christian, a person of faith, a woman, a business owner, a nonprofit business owner, if you go to school, if you teach at a school, all of these things are going to apply to you. They're going to hit you somewhere if this stuff gets implemented, okay? Think about this for a second. You run a church. A trans person walks in there and says, hey, look, I want to be a preacher. You could get sued because you didn't give them the opportunity to do that and didn't hire them. That's what we're talking about. Shelters for battered women would be forced to accept men, okay? The one place where many women are looking to get away from men, they're just going to start allowing these trans women to go right on in. Sounds like a really bad idea. And if they don't do that, they're going to get sued. They might even get arrested. Prisons would be unable to protect female inmates because they're going to have males, biological males, that are in those prisons with them. Now, they've tried this. It did not go well. It did not go well at all. Men aren't even kind to men in their own prisons, let alone when you stick them in there with a bunch of actual biological females. So biological males are going to be given opportunities, scholarships, championships of female athletes. I don't see how women's sports would survive something like this. It won't. Where are the feminists at? Why are they silent on these issues? That's what I want to know. More religious option or adoption, for example, foster care services and agencies. They will be forced to compromise their own religious beliefs about marriage and family, or just have to shut down entirely. What are they going to do? If somebody walks in there that's a gay couple and they say, we want to adopt a child, and it's this obviously Christian adoption agency, what then? Are they going to get shut down entirely? Are they going to get sued into oblivion? That's why I'm saying this has nothing to do with equality. This is not about equal rights here. This is about pushing an agenda while taking away your ability to live your life with peace or in peace at all. School bathrooms, locker rooms will be open to both sexes freely. That's the way they want to do this. It's going to take and strip away every delineation between male and female in our society today. That's what their goal is. And they call it equality. This is not equality, because nobody is denied a right to something right now. They look at things that they think are rights and they call them rights, but they're not a right. You have no right to adopt kids if you're a gay couple from a specific agency. There are plenty of other places that they could go. This is like that baker, if you recall that whole story, where he wouldn't bake this trans coming out, whatever it was, cake. And the guy literally said, hey, look, I'll provide the services to you. I will bake you a cake. I'm just not going to bake you a cake that's about that or representing that. It's no different than if I were to walk into Publix right now and ask them to bake a cake and write on it a bunch of curse words on it. They're probably going to tell me, we're not going to do that. Right? They're not going to do that. It's profane. I can't sue them because of that, because that's their policy. They're allowed to do that. If I want a cake that way, I'm welcome to go somewhere else. I am. I should be able to go wherever I want, wherever I please to go. I can do that. But that's what they're trying to do with this Equality Act, is take away your rights, take away the ability for you to have a normal life and have religious convictions and be able to go to church and believe in something and do something a certain way. They don't want that to happen, because they want to force you, not allow you, but to force you to bring these people in. And if you try to do anything about it, you're going to get sued, which is a horrible idea on its face. And hopefully this doesn't pass. This had no real weight before, because there was no way it was going to pass in the Senate. Now it's up in the air. It might wind up passing. So be on the lookout for this. If it does, I will let you know for sure. But I'm hoping that enough people realize how dumb this is, and it never goes through at all. You just watched a clip from the William Hall Show. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.